Hi there, I'm Andrew and welcome to this, my latest IELTS video. Today we're going to talk about Task 2 in the IELTS speaking exam, which is known as the long turn. This is the part of the exam where you have up to 2 minutes to show the examiner your skills in English. You have to speak for up to 2 minutes about a particular topic that will be contained on a card that the examiner will give to you. So you have up to 2 minutes to speak, and this is your best opportunity in your whole speaking exam to show the examiner how good you are at English. So you really should try to speak for the full 2 minutes. In this video, I am going to show you how to do well in terms of grammatical range in your Task 2. There are 4 criteria that you will be assessed on, so this is how your score will be calculated: fluency and coherence, lexical resource, pronunciation, and grammatical range and accuracy. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at grammatical range, and I am going to show you how you can make sure that you use the past perfect tense in your answer to pretty much any Task 2 question. I'm going to show you a method that you can use to make sure that you can do this. So, what does grammatical range mean? Well, it means things like showing that you know how to use the active and the passive voice, a range of sentence structures, but it also involves a wide range of tenses, and that is what we are going to look at in this lesson. But be advised, the key is to use the language appropriately. So I'm going to show you how you can include the past perfect tense in your answer to almost any Part 2 task. So, the past perfect tense. When should you use this tense? Well, we use this tense to describe a situation where 2 things happened in the past, but where one of those things happened before the other thing. It's very important or crucial to note that both events must have been completed. Do not use this tense to talk about anything that is still happening right now. So, here are a couple of examples of the past perfect tense in action. Number 1. Peter had eaten before he went to the party. So, Peter ate, and then, after that, he went out to go to the party. Note, both Peter's meal and the party are already over. They are completed events in the past. They are not continuing now. Example 2. Tom had planned to play football last week, but he changed his mind because the weather was too cold. So here, Tom thought that he'd like to play football last week, but he decided not to because of the cold weather. Again, the same 2 things apply. Both Tom's desire or wish to play football and the cold weather happened at a particular point in the past. They are completed events. They are not continuing now. So how do we form the past perfect tense? Well, hopefully you will have picked up a little bit about how we do that from the examples that I just gave. But if not, here's an explanation for you. First, use had plus the past participle to describe the event that happened first. For the second event, use the simple past tense. So use the simple past tense for the more recent event. So Peter had eaten, that's the first event, before he went to the party, the second event. So in the first case, we have had and eaten, which is the past participle of the verb to eat. And in the second case, we have went, the simple past tense of the verb to go. And exactly the same thing is in operation with the second sentence. Tom had planned to play football, but he changed his mind because of cold weather. So, with which part 2 tasks can you use the past perfect tense? All of them. Absolutely all of them. Because we often use this tense to talk about plans that we had made but were then forced to change. Then what you can do is tell a small little lie to make sure that you include this tense in your answer to any question. And here's an example question. And before I talk specifically about this question, I also want to make a general point here. You will see that this question is written in the present tense. Describe a park that you like. You should say what it's called, where it is, how often you go there, and why you like it so much. So, here is a big piece of advice for you. To help your grammatical range score, never fall into the trap, never make the mistake of answering a task 2 question by only using the present tense. Always use examples and talk about the past, because when we talk about the past, then we gain the chance to use lots of different tenses. So let's look at how we can use the past perfect tense as part of our answer for this question. I like going to Gorky Park. It's in Moscow and is about a 20-minute walk from my house. I remember the first time that we went there. We'd planned to go out to a restaurant for lunch, but it was such a nice day that we decided to go to this park and have a picnic instead. Note here that we use we'd in spoken English. So when you are writing the past perfect tense, you say we had planned, but we shorten this to we'd when we are speaking. And this is an example of how you can use the past perfect tense to answer a question asked entirely in the present tense. Let's look at one more example. Describe a hobby that you like to do. You should say what it is, how long you have been doing it for, how often you do it, and why you like doing it so much. Let's look at how we use the past perfect tense here. I love to bungee jump. The first time I tried it was back in 2004, and it only happened because of a last-minute change of holiday plan. I'd intended to go to Thailand, but tragically, the country was hit by the tsunami, so I spent my holiday in New Zealand instead, and it was there that I did my first bungee. So again, this is part of an answer to a part 2 question where we have used the past perfect tense. I'd or I had intended in the first part for the first event, and then the simple past tense of the verb to spend in the second part. So I spent my holiday in New Zealand instead. In the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to make sure that you can use the present perfect continuous in basically any part 2 speaking task. Perhaps you have some questions. If so, my email address is on the screen there, EnglishwithAndrew@virginmedia.com. I will also leave lots of my contact details below this video. If you found this video useful, please subscribe to it, and please leave comments if you have any other questions that you don't want to email me about. Okay, so I hope you found this lesson useful. I think you will have done. And goodbye, and see you next time.